Alright, what's going on, guys? Gdoggcasey here with another Final Fantasy XIV leveling series video. And finally, we are finished with all the dicking around. We have unlocked all the classes that we can unlock right now, so hilariously enough, I flew myself over to Aleport because I knew that I was going to be starting here, but actually, what I just realized after starting the recording is that I should be going to Limsa first. So, I'm 2 steps ahead of my own game here, and causing a waste of time right away, so that's a good start to the video. But yeah, today we're going to be doing some somewhat exciting stuff. It's still early on, it's still tutorial stuff, but we are going to be doing our first dungeon of the series, which is super exciting. It is going to be Sastasha, and it is going to come after we do the Smith, which might require a little bit of explanation. I'm just going to go to the Aft Castle, how about that? Because it sort of popped, like, it's been around for a while now, but it did kind of pop up randomly for me, in between me taking breaks of the game. Like, the first time I played, I got decently far with, Creech, and brought him up, him or her, whatever. He was both, but I brought him up to, like, level 56 or something like that, and then stopped playing for a little bit, and then when I came back, there was the Smith, and it was an interesting thing. So this is the Smith here, but there's actually like an actual place where they reside. I think we can do the tutorials here if we wanted to, but we're just going to do it in the order in which the game probably intends us to do it. So we're going to pick up this quest. It's going to be telling us to go to Aleport. And okay, never mind. You know what? I thought I knew what I was talking about, but apparently I don't. We got a couple blue quests here, so let's pick these up. Beauty is only scalp deep. This is going to be for the Esthetician, which is a pretty funny quest, actually. The Esthetician is an interesting character, so kind of fun to do. And this one is the big one, Rising to the Challenge. Okay, so I wasn't actually expecting these to pop up when they did, although I should have, because I've recently been through all this with another character. I just kind of forgot. But that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and just sort of turn things in as they are nearby. But it is probably worth doing these while we're here. I wasn't really planning on it, but I think I think they're going to be pretty quick to do. So this is for the Esthetician. We have to do something with him. We have to doubt him. Yeah, now we have to go across the world to speak to all these different people about the Esthetician, and that's something I'm not really in the mood to do at the moment. It's a little bit of a shame that we get a quest like this now when we were going all across the world before. That's probably my fault. But we'll clean that stuff up. I mean, it's not a pressing matter right now, and there will be cause to complete it in future episodes once we're in those areas. But this one is the challenge log, and I don't think it requires us to go anywhere. Oh, actually, that was the person for the scalp deep. Okay. Alright, I thought wrong once again. So how about we figure out where we need to go? Okay, Fisherman's Guild. Trust me, guys, I know a little bit about what I'm doing in this game. I'm just having a bit of a rough start to the video. Sort of forgetting a bunch of different things that were going to pop up. But that's okay, because it shouldn't take too long. Fisherman's Guild, right? Yeah. It shouldn't take too long, and once we get it done, it's done. And we should still be able to get the actual meat of what I wanted to get done today done, so. It'd be cool if you didn't make me run somewhere else. Let's take the money. Hey, there we go. Quest complete. So we've unlocked the challenge log. Now, the challenge log for your everyday leveling activities is incredibly important, and it's actually really cool. I really like it. It's basically a weekly checklist of things to do. So you can come over here to logs under main commands, click on logs, and we got the challenge log right here. I like to just drag it to my bar because this is one that I'm going to be looking at relatively often. Maybe not, you know, right now or as early as we are in the game, but later on when we start to be leveling up other classes, and even if we need to grind a little bit with the warrior, it's good to open up the challenge log and just see some things you can do for a boost of experience and money. So dungeons is grayed out because we haven't even unlocked those yet. Guild Hess, which by the way, we do have a couple extra Guild Hess available to us now that we're level 15 and higher. Once we hit level 20, we'll have a couple more as well. PvP, which I don't ever do, but maybe we'll explore that later on. Fates, Leave Quest, Disciples of the Hand is the crafting, Disciples of the Land is the gathering, treasure hunts, beast tribes, all this stuff is ways to get extra extra experience and level up your alternate classes and stuff like that. So it's really good, it's really important to get it because most of the time you're just going to accidentally complete it. And that's extra money and extra experience that you're just leaving on the table. So the quest brought us here. I don't know if this is the first time we've used a ferry, but if it is, then this is using a ferry. You can do it to get to places that are further away if you haven't attuned to the crystal yet. But I think I ran all the way to Aleport in a previous video, so we actually do have the crystal already, but we have to complete the quest anyway, right? Okay. Now it wants us to go to the Hall of the Novice, which is what I was talking about before with the smith. And Aleport's a little bit of a mess right now because I have quests to do here. I have things to unlock. There's a minion that we can get. There's hunting log stuff here. It's crazy. And we actually have Maim now, which I think I must have just unlocked without even realizing. So Maim is going to be our first, how do I call it? What would you call an attack like Maim? It's like a combo ability that you trigger to give yourself an attack damage boost for a short time. So you can see here, it reduces the target's slashing resistance by 10%. So what that initially does, because you notice it comes after heavy swing, right? And it does 190 potency if you do it in combo potency, or if you do it in combo, but the Skull Thunder does more, it does 200. So more often than not, you're going to be wanting to use Skull Thunder, but when you use Maim against the target that you're hitting, you reduce their slashing resistance by 10%, which inherently gives you a damage boost. I'm not sure if it is exactly 10% damage boost, because we do slashing damage for sure, but I don't know if there's like a different sort of algorithm that the way the armor works with slashing resistance and stuff like that, so who knows. I'm not going to pretend that I know about that, but the point is it gives you a boost. And we're going to want to use that on people who are going to be alive long enough to take full advantage of it. So if we're going to be like 2 or 3 shotting something, then we don't need to worry about Maim. But in dungeons, Maim is going to be pretty important. We're going to try to use it when we can. So we picked up the quest, and now it wants us to go through the Smith tutorial so we can learn how to play with other players. We can learn how to play our class. So let's go ahead and begin. We are the Marauder, so we are the tank class, so it's going to give us the tank tutorial. And it's okay. I mean, it's not necessarily the greatest tutorial of all time, but it does give you a little lesson on certain things. So we'll just go through it. Listen up, novice. For this exercise, you'll be learning avoidance. An enemy often tips his hand before a big strike, so save yourself some hurt and step clear of the impact. So you've learned to get out of the way, and you pass. Yes. We are ready. We have to wait for him to do this every single time, too, just so you know. Alright, now we can talk to him, tell him we're ready, and get going. This training exercise is now underway, except it isn't yet. Watch your opponent carefully. When you see an attack coming, move out of the strike zone. So that's what he's talking about. And if you're the greatest player of all time, like I am, then you'll have absolutely no problem dodging these abilities. Now we're being attacked by a mage. Oh, we have to go hit her. I don't think we actually have to hit her. Step out of the way. And now we have to attack both of them. Yeah, they stun you a little bit here. You will be able to move. There we go. We're the best. Now, we do get some really good gear for completing these as well. So that's what makes this basically mandatory. Like, well, okay, mandatory is a strong word. It's not mandatory, but it is recommended. You probably could go to the market board and spend a bunch of money to get gear and just use that instead, but stuff is free. Wow, I haven't done that in a while. There we go. We're getting all geared up. And it's cool looking gear anyway. So let's go ahead to the next training exercise. And one thing I actually should mention here is I wanted to quickly apologize about the lack of videos coming out recently. I've been having real problems uploading to YouTube. Like, I've tried a few times already, and the videos keep getting stuck uploading at 27%. And I had no idea what was causing it. I did change up a little something with my recording process, so I've gone ahead and set that back. And I also just restarted my computer in hopes that maybe there was something going on there that was causing the issue. So, and then I went to upload it, and it took longer than it normally does, but it did upload overnight. So I've been able to put up episode 8, but I have a lot more stuff that I've been trying to push out, and it just keeps getting stuck. So the channel's suffering a little bit for it, but if we have fixed the problem, then I can kind of reset things going forward next week, and you know, get back on a normal schedule once again. Alright, so let's go. Execute a combo to increase enmity. Yeah, I didn't really read or listen to anything he said, but I'm sure we'll be okay. We only have one combo. The training exercise is now underway. Hit that wooden warrior with your combination. Heavy swing and skull sunder. Don't try nothing fancy. Get the order wrong more than 4 times and we start over. Get the order wrong. There's literally 2 things. Like, that's a little bit ridiculous. I don't think we need an entire load screen, an entire explanation where we have to wait and listen for like however many minutes that was, just so that we can come in and do our combo 5 times or something like that. Like, give me a training dummy right there and let me do it right there. Or how about understand that I have made it this far in the game doing the same freaking combo since like level 4. Whatever level we get that at. Now I'm curious. Yeah, level 4. So That was a little silly. Did we get anything for that, by the way? No. So we didn't even get anything for it. But we will get something eventually. Execute a combo in battle. I don't remember the tutorials being this mundane. I do remember the dodging one. I think, but then the last few times I've been through here, it's with a DPS class, so... I guess it's been a long time since I've done the tanking one. In fact, I may have never even done the tanking one now that I think about it. I don't even know. You'll be testing that combination on a proper opponent. I've said this before, lad, but it bears repeating. Your job is to soak up the pain and keep your mates safe. It is good that they're hammering that home. For those of you, or for those people who have just never tanked in an MMO before, or never even got the concept, like if this is your first time ever playing an MMO, then yeah, this stuff is important, I guess. But the actual act of going out there and doing the combo is not that important. Yes, we're ready to begin. So we just have to make sure they're both hitting us. Pound your opponent with your combination. Don't let your ally get hit. Oh, who's my ally? Hey, come here. I can use provoke too. Provoke. There. That was a little, a few too many hits got through on the Conjurer there than I wanted. But there we go. Alright, do I have to protect you from an ad? Nope, that's it. Once again, here's a loading screen, here's a minute-long explanation of what you're supposed to do, just so you can go out there and literally just kill an enemy. But we do get the leggings, or the feet, actually, this time. So those are real good. Okay, so let's put those on. There we go, we're starting to look like a real adventurer here. Accrue enmity from multiple targets. He's gonna tell me how to use overpower. Listen up, novice. For this exercise, you'll learn how to build enmity with multiple foes. Have you ever tried using the overpower technique? It'll let you aggravate an entire group of enemies. Overpower hits every bugger in a cone in front of you. Make sure you're positioned so you don't miss anyone. Are we clear? Let me know when you're ready to begin. We are clear. I don't even get to use it on real enemies, it's just this. Oh my god. Use your overpower technique to hit all 3 dummies at once. If you fail to carry out me instructions 5 times, you'll be starting this exercise over. Well, I don't know, man. How about this? Stand right in front and push the button. Oh, okay. Still got them all. Okay, this is worth doing. Better to come here. There we go. We're making it happen. So that was, you know, I was originally like appalled at this training exercise, but then I guess it was okay, so that you can kind of learn your spread for your overpower, because that is important. And it works differently than Flash. Like Flash is the same sort of thing, except it doesn't do any damage. but it draws aggro on multiple enemies, and it has a different trajectory. It's a circle around you rather than a cone in front of you, so engaging multiple targets. One thing to learn too about Overpower is that it can use up a lot of TP. Like, Overpower itself takes 120 TP, where everything else is only 60. So you can't rely on it too heavily before you start to run out of TP. Usually, if you can get 2 off to start with, because it also generates enmity, then it's pretty good. And then just focus on your normal combo from there. Defeat every enemy on the field, and I'll consider your lesson learned. Alright, so we got a Conjurer teammate, and we gotta kill these blue dudes. I'm just gonna start here. Hit them all twice, and then I'm gonna switch to the caster. I'm gonna use Berserk as well to do some extra damage. Caster dead. I'm going to throw out another Overpower just to make sure I don't lose threat. I'm going to use my defensive cooldown as well, Rampart. Because why not? And we're just using our normal combo, and we're focusing the damage dealers first. Just because they die faster. Good job, healer. Okay, so we'll turn this one in, and we get the leggings. So let's put those bad boys on. Equip them. There we go. Execute a range attack to increase enmity. Now it's going to show us how to use Tomahawk. I mean, it's a little over the top in terms of tutorializing. I don't know why you can't just put this all in like one thing. For this exercise, you'll learn to establish enmity with a range attack. In battle, your enemies won't care not for fair. Stroll into a pack of foes and you're asking to get swarmed, which is our job. And your Tomahawk technique will be the tool for the job. Rather than blunder into a mob of nasties, you're better off pulling a few at a time from a safe distance. Defeat every enemy on the field and I'll consider your lesson learned. Are we clear? Let me know when you're ready to begin. Right now. Alright, so it just wants us to pull. Are we only going to aggro one group at a time? I could fight all these guys at once, alright? Don't tell me what I can't aspire to. Okay. Just pull one group though. We're going to use our cooldowns as well. In this one, I'm actually going to rotate between targets. Oh, did we pull too much? Alright, well now we're going to use Overpower. And we're going to use Rampart. We should survive. If our Guild Conjurer wants to do anything at all to help, that'd be pretty nice. I guess we're going to have to rely on potions. Oh my god, why are you waiting so long? Oh, she used like the full heal. That automaton is now dead. One more overpower here just to make sure we don't lose the second jackal. Alright, get in here, dodos. So the whole idea is to just have a bit of a mental clock going on the mobs that you are not focusing. So this second one that I'm not hitting right now, like in this situation, it's probably not going to happen because she's not really casting heal very often, and we don't have DPS classes doing damage either. And this is something we can get into a little bit more during the actual dungeon, but like I said, the idea is to sort of have a mental clock on all the enemies and when they've received damage, while also keeping in mind that the healer casting healing spells is pulling enmity as well. So, for example, if you have like a fight with 3 mobs, and let's say it takes you like a long time to kill each one, if you just focus on the first one, even if you do like a couple overpowers, so let's say you overpower twice to get enmity pulled, or enmity grown on all 3 enemies, if you just focus down the first one and only the first one, and it takes a long time to kill, the healing spells that the healer casts, as well as any like AoE type damage that the DPS do, are going to be pulling enmity back now from the second and third target. So you need to be rotating through or using an extra overpower, somehow getting enmity built up on the second and third mobs as well, before they run off. Is this number 8 we're doing? This isn't even the final one. Defeat the enemy while staying alert for reinforcements. Yeah, this is another good lesson as well. One of the big things you want to do as a tank is make sure that your head is always on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. Even if you don't know the dungeon, just keep your head on a swivel, keep looking around to make sure that there's no ads, or maybe there was an ad, or maybe there was a mob that was part of your group that you just didn't notice at first had been pulled over to the healer or something. Keep your head on a swivel, keep looking around, stay aware of all the enemies around you, and pick them up as soon as you can. Which is basically what this guy's teaching us. It's just one of, like, it is sort of hammering home some of those fundamentals, right? And it's the fundamentals, in my opinion, that are the most important when it comes to tanking. You get these fundamentals hammered into your system so that you don't have to think about them, and then all of a sudden, tanking becomes a much better, a much easier experience, and a lot more fun, in my opinion. So he's going to call for aid at certain parts in this fight. We're going to use Berserk. And we're just going to sort of keep an eye on when they're coming. So there's one here. Hit tab to select him. Get this going with the Tomahawk. And then come back. Oh, what? Okay, so Tomahawk wasn't enough, so we need to switch back to him. Make sure he's fighting us. We used Provoke there just to be absolutely sure. We also have to adapt too, right? Like sometimes you'll make a mistake like that. So there's a new enemy on the field somewhere. There it is, over there. Took me a while to find it. We'll throw a Tomahawk at it, and then we'll hit it with a normal combo. Get it off our healer. And kill it. All the while dodging the AoEs on the ground. See, this one is a much more reasonable tutorial. It's not like mind-bendingly easy. It's not hard either, obviously, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's got you actually actively playing the game, whereas the other ones are just like, hit this thing with your combo 4 times. But that's a good one. So, being able to be aware of your surroundings and also dodge the AoEs on the ground is a skill that might actually be tough for some people who are not comfortable with the WASD moving and like using right click to steer yourself around and stuff like that. Like, it'll teach you to get better at that. Because I always use like, well, you can use yeah, see, that's the difference. If you use left click, it becomes much tougher to control, but if you use right click, your guy will just go wherever you're looking, right? And you can use this, so I'm almost always held down on right click. Let's say like this person was the enemy, so I can hold right click and then just sort of run around and keep my mouse turning to keep them in the center. Basic stuff, but you know, that's you'll notice it too when you're playing with other people. Their character will run out and they'll stop in the middle, and then you'll see their like feet turning like I can't do it now, but exercise 8 now, final exercise. You'll see their feet turning like this, and they're slow, and then they'll pull out their weapon, and you know, it's that type of thing that those players need to get a little bit better at camera control and basically just character control in general. And using right click, that's how you do that. You have full control if you're holding right click. So, yeah. Pro tips for the day. As the culmination of your training, all the skills you've learned will be put to the test. Bump, bump. Breathe deep, remember your lessons, and you'll do fine. Let me know when you're ready to begin. Right now. So this is like a mini dungeon. I'd like a guild test. It's almost exactly like a guild test, only a solo. Training exercise is now underway. Right, let's start with the basics. Keep the foe away from your allies and watch your positioning. So this is another good one, actually, in regards to positioning. As a tank, you should always position the enemy facing away from your teammates, because for that reason right there, it means your teammates don't have to dodge the AoE, so they can continue just doing damage. And also, the enemy cannot block or parry attacks to their back. And you can tell you're hitting their back when you, if you take a look at this circle here around the enemy, right here on the corners, this area where there's no circle, that is their rear. And if you hit them in the rear, they can't block. So essentially, it ends up being a damage boost for your DPS teammates because less of their attacks are being blocked. Now, of course, if you're the monk, then we're talking about something different. The monk needs to be in their own positions, and it doesn't matter too much for them. But well, it matters a lot for them, but it's less your responsibility for the monk to get into their positions. But everyone else, all the other DPS, usually want to be attacking from the rear. So you can make that job easy for them by positioning the enemies facing away from them like this. Hit with a couple overpowers, dodge the AoEs, but just generally keep them facing away from your party. And this is doubly so when you're fighting bosses, because a lot of the bosses are going to have abilities that do like a cleave attack, and a lot of them won't even telegraph it. It's just a big cleave attack that you have to know is coming. And the best way to deal with it anyway is to just make sure the enemies are facing away from your teammates. And I'm just sort of getting into a habit here where I'm rotating between the different mobs, which is something you should do well in a real dungeon. Here we got the boss here. Again, we're going to face him away from our teammates, because he's going to have these AoEs. And our AI allies are real dumb. They won't move out of that. So, it is 100% our responsibility to make sure they don't get hit. I'm not sure if this guy calls any allies or anything like that. We'll use our defensive cooldown, because why not? Just lost Berserk. we go. And we get the ring. The ring gives us a little bit of an experience boost up until level 30, I think. Just helps us level a little faster. And I forgot to put, like, everything on, so let's put the stuff on. We still have this stupid turban. I've been actually thinking about going helmetless. Gives us a little more character. Because later on, we're going to get a lot of helmets that just sort of close off our face. And then it doesn't matter what we look like. So there. So we're done with the smith. So we've completed the tanking tutorial. We are all geared up in our brand new gear. And it's time to go do our first dungeon. After killing this dude in our hunting log. And these guys. Is there a reset? No, okay. A little worried about that. How many more dust bats do we gotta kill here? Another one. Die. Okay, so talk to this guy. He tells us we need to go into Sastasha, and we are now about to do our first ever dungeon on this character. So we can come here, we can click here, it'll put us in the queue. Oh, we select that, and we click join. You can also hit U, which is your duty finder. And this is a very important page for you, especially if you're a tank, because you can come here every day and get a lot of stuff done. Do a duty roulette a daily to get a bonus gold and experience for Guildhess, and then once we get to level 16, we can do this for dungeons as well. And then later on, trials and everything. So it looks like we got a 6-minute wait time to get in. A lot of times you'll get into these dungeons like pretty instantly if you are a tank, but sometimes you'll have to wait. So if that's the case, then let's go and complete some of these quests around here that are sort of filling up my quest log. This one is going to get us a minion, and I think we've already unlocked the first minion. And I sort of did it without even mentioning it. Where is it? Main commands, minion guide. Yeah, this Coral. There's a dude in Aleport who gives you 2 quests. One to save a Coral kitten and one to save a wolf pup. And right now we're doing the one to save the pup. He's right here, starving to death. We gotta give him a bone. Grr. What do you mean invalid target? It's the only target. Yep, yep. And there we go. And now we have to soothe it. And now he's ours. We just have to turn in the quest. Is there anything else around here? You know what, let's do this fate. We unlocked the challenge log anyway. Now the challenge log resets every Tuesday at a certain time that I can't remember right now. Right now it's Thursday, so still pretty early on in the week. So doing this is gonna be worth it. as long as we can kill him. Sometimes these boss fates, you actually can't kill them. So this is a definite example of one where we want to use main. Because now he's got less slashing resistance, so we're going to do more damage. And we can see the timer here. We sort of want to keep it up at all times. Yeah, I figured that would happen. Just kill this dude, get him out of the way. Whoop, I probably got hit by that. Come back here, we'll put Maim on him again. Just go back to doing some damage. Oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to finish this, am I? We got 30 seconds. I don't think we're gonna have Berserk here. Let's give Berserk a chance. No, we're not gonna do it. Not even gonna happen. So, oh well. That'll happen. Not a huge deal. Say hello to the team and let's get rolling. We'll want to wait. This person's watching a cutscene. You can tell because there's a little film icon beside him. Okay. Let's roll. Man, it was a long time ago when I had made or had started the tanking guide on YouTube and came through Sastasha. And it's funny because when I go back and look at that video, which is actually like by far the most successful video on my channel, I look at it and I'm like, man, like I don't do like half of that stuff anymore. Like marking the target, overusing flash, stuff like that. It's not really necessary. It's, oh, yeah, sorry. I forgot to get Protect on me. Alright, so we'll use our Overpower here to get threat. Turn them away from our party members. Okay, going. But yeah, I definitely am a different player now than I was when I made that series. I've gotten a lot more confident, even than I was. Like, at that point, I was confident enough to start a series on showing people how to tank, but I'm even more so now. There's a lot of things that are a little bit, you know, overplaying, like doing the targets. Like, if you want to do one target, it's not a big deal, but I remember I was, like, stopping to target, like, all 3 enemies in specific order. You don't have to do that. I also had a mindset where it was like, your only job is to tank, which theoretically is true, but there are ways that you can make things go much smoother for your party members by just doing more damage. And later on, like, it doesn't really kick in until much later on in the game when you'll be expected to do a little bit more damage, but the point is that if you want to learn to play your class optimally, then it's not just about doing your job, it's about doing as much as possible. And as a Marauder / Warrior, that means that's going to be tanking is our #1 job, but dishing out as much damage as possible is still important for us. And even if you're a Paladin, you can see here we are rotating between enemies. When there's only 2 enemies, I usually just dump 1 combo into the first one, and then just move over to the second one permanently. I'm not going to use Berserk here because this enemy's almost dead, but I know I'll have it for the next fight. I'm not using Maim either on these enemies, and I'm not exactly sure if that's like if I should be or not. I feel like it's a little bit of a waste. Over here, you really want to kill these guys first. When he's closed, you can't do any damage, so he's closed now. Everyone else is handling that, so we'll come get this treasure. 3 potions. Alright, he's dead. These Shade Seekers are incredibly easy to kill for everybody, so you don't have to worry too much about tanking them, because they'll just die, even to the healer. We can come over here and pull these 2. 1 overpower should be enough. Pop our Berserk. Okay. Use some overpower here and come back to the boss. Or not the boss, but the clan. He's like the boss of these Shade Seekers. He summons them. Try to use a maim here. I still don't actually know if we should be using maim against basic mobs. I think it's mostly useful against bosses, or at least like extra tanky enemies. Got 3 enemies here, so we'll pop off like 2 overpowers. Sorry guys, excuse me. Did not see that one coming. Get a few combos into him, rotate over to the other dude. That's what I'm talking about, having a timer, right? I can hear my healer just casting heal over and over again. So every time he does that, he's generating enmity on all 3 enemies that we're fighting, not just the one that I'm focusing. So we gotta build up enmity on all 3 of them at all times. And that's how you can make it relatively smooth. Down the clam. There we go. There we go. So somebody went and read the book early on in this dungeon. I didn't. I don't know if they noted what it was, but they'll probably go hit the right switch. Yeah, it was this person. So they're gonna hit the green switch. There we go. I'm gonna use this time to get some TP back. And then there's the boss. So let's pull him over here. Now this is where we definitely want to use some maim. Just face him away from everybody. Now, we're going to make some use out of Low Blow, which is a roll skill right here. We can actually cancel that spell by using Low Blow at the right time. And we can stay in the circle and not have to lose that on damage. It's a little way to optimize, but now that's on cooldown, so we have to get out. Our first boss done and dusted. Yeah, so this is an interesting piece of gear now because it's so much worse than the brand new set that you get for completing the tutorial, so I don't even know why it exists. I guess for the people who didn't do the tutorial. Alright, so make sure our overpower hits all three. Get two of them off. Pop our berserk. Down. In the previous version of the Marauder, before Stormblood came out and changed things, Maim was a different skill. Maim would actually just boost your damage on all targets, not just the one you use it on. So I still sort of have it in me a little bit to want to use Maim just to give me that damage boost, but you don't need to do that anymore. So it made the job a little bit easier. Alright, on to the second boss already. It's another relatively simple fight. Make sure everyone's in and paying attention. We can start. We want to focus down the ads first, because they're the ones that can actually die. We're going to use Berserk. Get this guy down to about under half. And I can see somebody else is hitting this guy. And we lost threat on the boss. So we're going to provoke, and we're going to use Skull Thunder, which is our big threat generator, and get him back on us. On this guy, even though, yeah, he won't even last long enough. So no big deal. Got a cudgel for the thaumaturge. Yeah, we've already passed on that. And this dungeon is really just more of the same, just over and over again. Just fighting a group of 2 to 3 mobs. And just learning how to easily tank them while your party burns them down. And your healer keeps you healed. It's pretty hard to screw this one up, even if you don't know what you're doing. But that said, even if you do, there's no need to be ashamed of that kind of thing. Like, just do it again. You know, like a lot of people will... There's some sort of stigma around tanking where it's like tanking anxiety. Almost like when I played StarCraft a lot, there was ladder anxiety. A lot of people didn't like playing 1v1 on ladder, like ranked, because it just made them anxious. And that's something that I can understand, but I've never dealt with myself. So to me, it seems like the obvious answer is to just do it, you know? Just... If you're worried about tanking, the only way that you can get better and get to the point where you're not worried about it is actually just do it. Maybe take a friend along as your healer so that you know, you can trust the person who is tasked with keeping you alive. But really the only way that you're going to get to the point where it's comfortable to tank is just going out there and just doing it. And you can do Sastasha over and over and over and over again until you feel comfortable with it, and then move on to the next one. Gotta pick up the key. Over here. Then we can open the door. So this guy's a little bit tankier. So we might get a benefit out of using Maim on him, so we'll do it. You see Maim here, it's got 20 seconds left on its cooldown. And we can sort of figure out whether or not it was worth it or not to see by seeing how much was left on it by the time this guy died. In this case, I'd say it's safe to say that it was, you know, it was worth using MAME in that case. Now he drops a key as well, so we'll pick that up. Move on over here. Use our Berserk. Switch over to the second mob and just focus him down to the end. The hope is that our DPS will continue to focus this guy down. It looks like they are. Alright, coffee time. And third boss time. There's actually 4 bosses in this dungeon, which is not actually something that you'll see a lot. There's only a few dungeons that have 4 bosses. Alright, looks like we didn't get them caught in our overpower there, but we got them back. We'll use our Rampart to increase our defense. We'll focus down the extra adds. We'll also pop Berserk now it's off cooldown. And in this dungeon, or in this boss, sorry, the boss will summon some dogs to help him out. So it's the same thing in the tutorial where we had to sort of keep our head on a swivel while looking for extra adds joining the fight. One thing you can do is actually just pull the boss over here and get ready for it. Let's keep an eye on the dogs here, and they'll be right within our overpower range, so we can use it as soon as they pop out. There they are. Just want to make sure that we hit them. We are not doing. That didn't work as well as I wanted it to. The idea was cool in my head. But we've got them all. We can focus down the bosses, or the dogs first. Typically you will want to focus down the adds first before the main target. In this specific boss fight, it doesn't matter that much because you can actually kill the boss before you kill the dogs. But then you still have to kill the dogs after, so... See, he's run off, but we still have to kill the dogs. Like I said, most of the time you'll want to kill the adds first. Here's a shield for your gladiator, if you are playing a gladiator. Really good one to start with. Just rotating between the mobs, making sure we're keeping threat up on all of them. Now, this room specifically presents a tiny obstacle in that some of these mobs are ranged. Some of them are archers, right? See that archer there? As a tank, archers and casters of any sort can prove to be a little more annoying than most mobs because they will just attack you from range. So they won't get in a clump. So what you want to do is actually focus them first. So there's an archer here. If I come here and pull this guy and then shoot my tomahawk over here, we want to run up to the archer and then they'll bunch up. And it's not a bad idea to kill archers first anyway because they typically have more damage than your typical mobs, so taking them out first is not a bad thing. If there's a healer, obviously you want to take out the healer first, but besides that, nothing wrong with focusing down an archer. Another thing you can do with ranged targets is just get out of line of sight if that opportunity presents itself. In this room, it actually doesn't, but sometimes you'll be able to run around a corner and then they will run up to you and then they will bunch up. We've got no archers here, so easy peasy. Look at that, we literally just hit the hour mark. And I don't don't know why we're doing this here. Maybe if it was Sastasha hard mode, that would have been more called for, but... Yeah, we just hit the hour mark. We're going into the last boss. So that's not too bad. Now, this boss can be handled a couple different ways. You could just burn the boss down and not worry about the mechanics at all. But it's better to do that only if everybody's on the same page. And in this case, when we have new players, it's tough to make sure everyone's on the same page. So I'm just going to say, just burn down the boss. Don't worry about puddles or ripples or whatever. And this way, hopefully everyone read that and we can just be on the same page and just focus this guy down. We're definitely going to use main against the boss. And we're going to keep an eye on our teammates to see what they're doing. If they're going to start running towards the ripples, then our goal of focusing the boss down becomes a little bit tougher. But it looks like everybody's on point, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Although we don't have the limit break. The limit break is very helpful in this strategy, but we don't have it anymore because somebody used it on the last fight. So, I'm a little curious to see how that'll work out. I'm late on getting my main back up, so that's my mistake. And we're going to start to get ads joining the fight now, but we need to just get as much damage done on the boss as we can. And I think we'll be okay. Yeah, we'll be fine. It's taking them a while to pop. They've all popped now, but if we just focus the boss and put a marker on them, just make sure everybody knows. And we did it. That healer was about to get fucked, but it was all good. We did it. GG, guys. And there you have it. So that is our first dungeon with this character, gdoggcasey, the Marauder / Warrior. We will give our commendation to the healer, like I usually do. And we don't need that, so we'll pass on that. And we are done with it. No commendations. Wow. Ungrateful. Oh, it'll happen. Sometimes when you leave too fast, they didn't even have a chance to commendate you, and sometimes they just thought other people did good. Which is fine. I'm not salty about it at all. Not even one little bit. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. We managed to complete a few things. We got our Smith and Novice Hall completed. We got all the brand new gear here that we'll be wearing for quite a while. We completed Sastasha, our first dungeon, and in the next episode, the plan... We're going to go to Aleport, by the way. The plan is to complete the next 2 dungeons, because what the story does at this point is it throws 3 dungeons in a row at you. As sort of like initiation into the dungeon world. And it's pretty cool, but it also takes a while, so there's no way we can get it done in this episode, but next episode we should be able to get both dungeons done and continue on with the main story and keep grinding our way up to the top here. We're also going to turn this quest in real quick and get this starved pup minion. It's pretty cute. There he is. Can't complain. Open up our inventory and actually use it. Got a Sahagin card we can use as well. Anything else in here that matters? No, I don't think so. Okay, guys, like I said, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.